Alright, Karina baby, for September the 29th, from A Year Full of Stories, 366 Days of Story and Rhyme, we have Rush Hour. Bring, bring! The alarm clock by Mr. and Mrs. Pig's bed goes off at 8 o'clock. Mr. Pig is still snoring, so Mrs. Pig wakes him up. Mr. Pig goes downstairs to make a cup of tea, or rather, he falls downstairs, because Potter Pig has left his roller skates in a silly place at the top. Just wait till I see Potter, says Mr. Pig, rubbing his sore nose. Mrs. Pig, oh geez, my light's not even on. Oh, I'm sorry, Karina baby. I forgot to turn on my light. It's daytime, and I forgot how poor the light quality is in this room now. Rubbing his sore nose, Mrs. Pig wakes Potter and the piglets. Then everyone wants to go to the bathroom at once. Hurry up, shouts Mrs. Pig, and don't forget to wash your ears. At 8:15, Mr. Pig carries the tea tray upstairs. But oh dear, he has forgotten about Potter's roller skates, which have rolled halfway down, and he trips over them again. Meanwhile, Potter has put on his new school uniform, and Mrs. Pig is helping the piglets tie their shoelaces. At 8:30, Mrs. Pig makes breakfast. Potter and the piglets eat bowls of hot cereal. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Breakfast time with the pig family is quite noisy. After that, there is just enough time for a kiss everyone goodbye. Before Mr. Pig has to catch his train to work, kiss, kiss, kiss for the 3 piglets, a kiss for Potter, and a big kiss for Mrs. Pig. Then Mr. Pig runs all the way to the train station. At 9:15, Mrs. Pig, Potter, and the piglets put on their coats. All walk to school. First, Mrs. Pig takes the piglets to the nursery school. See you at lunchtime, she says. Next, she takes Potter to the big school nearby. See you at going home time, says Mrs. Pig. Mrs. Pig looks at her watch. I've got 5 minutes to get to work, she says. So Mrs. Pig hurries down the road to the shop where she sells books. And at 9 o'clock sharp, she is ready for her customers. Phew, thinks Mrs. Pig. It's amazing what you can do in an hour. Oh my. So, Mrs. Pig got a lot done within that hour. She got herself up and ready to go. She got her husband up. Her husband helped with the tea. She got all 3 of her piglets ready for school, including her older piglet, Potter. Right? She got a lot done within that hour. And then she's a career woman, so she's working outside the home. And then she's going to see her piglets at lunchtime, so she's going to see them at noon. So that means that she's going to leave work. She's going to go see her piglets, probably for a half an hour to an hour, and then go back to work. Right? And then she's going to pick up her Potter pig when it's time to go home. So that's probably 2:30. So how many hours a day is Mrs. Pig working for outside the home? 10, 11, 12, 2. She's working a part-time job of 4.5 hours. Maybe, because she has to have time to leave work, so maybe she's working 3.5 hours outside the home. Mrs. Pig is spinning her wheels. Alright, let's go into our fairy tale book, if no one can find it. Oh, there it is. We did The Shoemakers and the Elves yesterday. Dr. Know-It-All is the next book. Once there was a peasant, and he was very poor. All he had in the world was a patch of woodland, and 2-wheeled carts, and a pair of oxen to pull it. From time to time he chopped down some of his trees, cut them up into logs, and carted them into the village. If he was lucky enough to find a buyer for the wood, he would sell it for $2 a load. One day, the peasant fish, for that was his name, took his ox cart full of wood to the village and sold it to a doctor. While Fish was standing at the open door, waiting for his $2, a powerful smell of rich, savory food reached his nostrils. He peeped in at the door. There was the doctor's dinner laid out on the table, all steaming and ready to eat. Soup and roast, juicy vegetables, a frosted cake, and a dish of luxurious fruit. Such a peasant fish had never even laid eyes upon before. Oh, thought the poor man, if I could only be a doctor too, and eat such heavenly dinners. This set him thinking about the doctor had given him his $2 for the wood. The peasant lingered in the doorway, twirling his cap this way and that. And at last he asked whether he might not learn to be a doctor also. Well, and why not? The doctor said to him. It's easy enough. And how would one go about doing that now? Asked Fish. First of all, said the doctor, you must sell your 2 oxen and the cart. With that money you must buy some fine clothes. You must also buy a few medicine bottles, pills and capsules, salts, salves, and so on. Next you must get yourself a book. One of the ABC books will do. The kind with the pictures of a rooster inside. And last of all, you must get a board with the words, I am Dr. Know-It-All printed on it, and you must nail it over your door. Fish did all this. Over his door hung the newly painted sign. In his room was a shelf full of medicine bottles, and on his table was the ABC book. He himself was so fine and grand he felt like someone new. With his spectacles, his long-tailed coat, his watch, and his pointed beard, he really looked as if he knew it all. He was ready to start. But day after day went by and nothing happened. There he sat among his salves and pills with not a thing to do. At last someone came, and, oh Lord, no less, this Lord had been robbed of a big sum of money. And when he saw the sign, I am Dr. Know-It-All, he said to himself, that's just the fellow I want. If he really knows it all, he will surely know who has stolen my money. He knocked at the door, and when Fish heard him, he straightened up his spectacles, gave a pull at his watch chain, put on his tail coat, but took it off again, at last opened the door. So you are Dr. Know-It-All, said the rich lord. Oh yes, said Fish. I want you to find me my stolen money, said the lord. Can you come with me now to my place? Yes, indeed, said Fish. And my wife? Grantley? And my wife Gretel may come. My wife Gretel may come. May she come too? Certainly, said the lord. So they all stepped into his coach and drove off. It was the dinner hour when they reached the lord's palace, and he invited Fish and Gretel to join him at the table. They all sat down, and when the first servant came in with a dish of soup, Fish whispered to his wife, look, Gretel, that is the first. He meant that this was the first course being served, but the servant who had overheard him thought he meant this was the first thief who had stolen the Lord's money. As he really was one of the thieves, he became worried. And when he reached the kitchen, he said to his fellow servants, things will go ill with us now that this Dr. Know-It-All is around here. Just think. As soon as he sets eyes on me, he said to his wife, I was the first thief. The other servants gasped in alarm, and when the bell twinkled for the next course, the second servant hardly had the courage to go into the dining room. But what could he do? It was his turn to serve. He tried to look innocent as he entered with the dish of steaming food, but Fish leaned over to his wife and whispered, See, Gretel, that's the second. He meant this was the second course, but the servant thought that he himself was meant, and his knees knocked together as he rushed back to the kitchen. When the third servant came in with still another dish, it was the same. Fish nodded to his wife, whispering, And that, Gretel, is the third. The third servant, his hair standing on end, set the dish on the table and dashed into the kitchen as fast as he could. Luckily for the thieves, the Lord had noticed nothing, for he had been too busy thinking up some way of putting Dr. Know-it-all to the test. And now he said, Doctor, here is the first servant with a covered dish. If you really know it all, you should be able to guess what is in the dish. Poor peasant Fish, he said he knew what was in it. He looked and looked at the covering dish, and at last, seeing he was caught, he said, Oh, you poor fish, you're done for. As luck would have it, there was a fish in the dish. And the Lord cried, Well, well, doctor, you've guessed it. Now I know you can find my stolen money. He was in a fix. The peasant Fish had no mistakes about it. He was still racking his brains for something to say when the fourth servant, who was just leaving the room, winked meaninglessly at him. Fish excused himself from the table and followed the man into the kitchen. The servants, looking greatly frightened, said, Oh, doctor, you told your wife we were the thieves who stole my lord's money, and it's true, but we'll give it all back to him, and we'll reward you besides, if you'll only promise not to tell on us. Fish promised to keep their secret, and they showed him where the stolen money was hidden. When he returned to the dining room, he cleared his throat and stroked his beard, saying, So you want to know what's become of your money, my lord? Well, I have to consult my book about that. He sat down and spread the ABC book out on his knees. Then he put his spectacles on his nose, and with an important air began to look for the picture of the rooster. Meanwhile, the servants were curious to know whether Dr. Know-it-all would really keep their secrets. So the fifth servant was sent in to listen. He sneaked in on tiptoe and hid in the oven. All this time, Peasant Fish, or Dr. Know-it-all, whichever you wish to call him, was still flipping pages back and forth in his ABC book, but he couldn't find the picture of the rooster. At last he lost his temper and shouted, You rascal! I know you're in there, and I'll find you yet. The servant who was in hiding thought that he was the rascal. He jumped out of the oven, yelling, Hola, hola! The man knows everything. Dr. Know-it-all, who had found the rooster at last, looked pleased, closed his ABC book, and cleared his throat again. He said, Yes, well, well. And now as to your stolen money, my lord, I can show you just where it is. He led the lord to the place where the servants had hidden the money, saying, You see, my lord, here it is, every penny of it. The lord was pleased, so very pleased, in fact, that he grabbed a great handful of gold, pressed it into Fish's hand, and said, Well done, my good doctor, and my undying thanks to you. I will spread your fame far and wide. This he did too. And from that time on, Fish and his good wife Gretel lived in wealth and ease, had plenty of good food to eat, and rode about town in a fine carriage. Wasn't he the luckiest man you've ever seen? He guessed Fish because Fish was his name, and he said that these are the servants, and yet the servants were the thieves. Imagine that. Alright, baby cakes, let's sing a song. Let's do Lila Toe, baby. Lila Toe, and good night to you. Lila Toe, may your dreams come true. We sing Lila Toe, may Israel protect you throughout the night until we reach the morning light. Karina, baby, I love you, and I miss you, and I can't wait to see you. I miss you so much, my angel. It's unbelievable. I do love you. I will always love you, baby. Like Papa used to always say, Mama's Papa's sun, Papa's my moon, and you are our rainbow baby. You're quite literally our rainbow baby. Mama's doing everything I possibly can to try and get back to you, okay? Papa just has to... Papa and Mama just have to work something out, okay? That's actually your dress in the background. I got that for you the other day. I love you so incredibly much. I got you some more toys. I got you some more clothes. I got you some more stuff. I just can't wait to see you. I keep getting you stuff, and I can't wait to see you. I miss you. I love you.